Welcome to Assembly Update. I'm Angelo Santa Barbara, your host, Assembly representative for the 111th Assembly District, representing Montgomery County, parts of Schenectady County, and parts of Albany County. Today we have with us Mr. Kirk Lewis, Executive Director of Schenectady ARC. He's here to tell us about all the wonderful things the organization is doing for the community. Welcome to the show, Kirk. Welcome for being here.
Thank you, and thank you for inviting me. It's great to be here.
Thank you. And maybe we could start off, if you could tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I'm an attorney by training. I've been with Schenectady ARC for 14 years now. I'm a Schenectady native. Grew up, went to Schenectady schools, and had really only been away from the area to go to college, and I was up in Maine for a few years for a judicial clerkship. But I've been involved with Schenectady ARC since my brother was born, and he's in his 40s now, 1964. My brother was born with Down syndrome, and so like a lot of families at that time, my family reached out to other families, and they connected with people who are involved with Schenectady ARC. And we'll talk more in a minute about what ARC is and what it's become, but and I think it's pretty typical. Families who experience a child with a disability, it changes their lives, and you get involved with it. My father was a volunteer, I was a volunteer, and then I worked and I was on the board, and I was in private practice in Albany for a while, and then I came to Schenectady ARC to be their general counsel, and I've been the executive director now since July of 2011.
So that's quite a bit of involvement with the organization, and I guess let's talk about the organization itself. Okay. ARC. Tell us what ARC means.
For us right now, ARC means Advocacy, Resources, and Choices, but it has a historical meaning, and ARC used to stand for the Association for Retarded Children. And that goes back, and the word retarded has taken on a kind of a pejorative meaning now. It's not politically acceptable. It's not a polite term. But when the organization was started, it was started by parents of children with mental retardation, and that phrase was accepted. In fact, far more polite than the other phrases that were used at the time to describe kids with that disability. So ARC, it started out as Schenectady ARC because they were serving children. They started out providing school programs. And then the organization is part of a statewide organization, which is NYSARC, which used to be New York State Association for Retarded Children. But again, NYSARC has evolved, and across the state they advocated for changes in the laws, they provided services, and they've developed into a very large and very complex but still very dedicated organization. It's run by families. It's a volunteer, not-for-profit organization, so we have family members on our board of directors. They volunteer their time. They're very involved with what we do, and again, the organization has evolved over time to provide new services, different services, and to meet the needs of people with disabilities in a different way.
And I know it's called Schenectady ARC, but your service area is actually beyond that of Schenectady?
It is, although we are really concentrated in Schenectady. Okay. We provide, so right now Schenectady ARC provides mostly services for adults because, again, as part of the advocacy was to get the schools to mainstream children and to bring them into the public schools, and that succeeded, and so they were involved with school programs through the 70s, but since then what we've done is adult services. So we provide support for people during the day. We may help them in a job. We may provide a work setting or work training for people who need maybe a little more assistance with some daily living activities. We have day programs. And we do that in Schenectady. That's based in Schenectady. We have a clinic at our offices in State Street, and the clinic offers supports to people throughout the Capital District because it's a little bit unusual to have that kind of clinical support. So we have primary medical care, psychology, psychiatry, podiatry. We do that at our site in Schenectady, but we also offer clinical supports, therapy, behavioral supports in Schenectady and also in Albany and at other locations. And we have residential supports. Those are throughout Schenectady County. We have houses where we support people and apartments where we support people in every town and really in every part of the county.
And I've had a chance to visit the facility, and you have a facility in the town of Rotterdam as well.
Yes, let's see, we just had a press conference at our Maple Ridge Center, which is really the first building that Schenectady ARC built back in the 70s. That's on Hamburg Street in Rotterdam. We have another day site where we support people who have need a little more support and services. They have some medical needs. That's at Princetown. It's really right on the edge of Princetown in Rotterdam. We support over 100 people there. We have a work center in Scotia where we do some contract work. We do vocational training, vocational support. We have we have smaller day sites that support people who, generally younger people coming out of the schools and maybe going to community college, maybe volunteering, maybe learning some, volunteering at some of the local businesses. We have 2 of those sites that are in the city of Schenectady. We have our main administrative offices in downtown Schenectady, and also our clinical office is in downtown Schenectady. So again, we're kind of scattered throughout the county.
So when we're talking about the service area, it covers quite a large area, and it sounds like quite a range of people that actually rely on the services of ARC.
It does. We support over 1,000 people with developmental disabilities and their families. I mentioned the clinical supports and the day and the residential programs. We also have a service known as service coordination, which is a kind of an advocacy and support for families. It helps people access the services. It helps people connect with the service providers who can help them out in the best way possible. So yeah, we have a very wide range of services. It's funny, people don't know Schenectady ARC is as big as it is or as comprehensive it is. Our building one is known as Maple Ridge, one is known as Pine Ridge, one is known as Princetown, so they don't realize it's all Schenectady ARC.
Yeah, and I was able to go on the website, and it kind of pulls all that together for you. Maybe we can give out the website real quick if people want to.
Yeah, it's www.arcschenectady.org. And we try to keep that up to date and comprehensive. We have links to our services and to a number of other similar services.
And if people want to contact the organization, contact number right on the website, or do you have one?
There's an email contact right on the website, a general email address. Our office number is 518-372-1160. You can call that anytime, and we have great people there who will direct your call, get you to the people who can help you out.
You talked about all the services and the service area and the number of people that really rely on these services. What about the staff? Let's talk about the staff.
We have great staff. I say it and I mean it. We have some of the best staff, and we employ about 550 full-time people if we're fully staffed. One of the challenges for an organization like ours is we are not richly funded. We have the people we call our DSPs, our direct support professionals. Those are the people who work in our houses, who work in our day programs, who support people really in the day-to-day activities, in the training and the residential support. And we support people who have some serious medical needs, who may need assistance with every aspect of their daily living. So we ask our DSPs to do a lot, but we have a great group of people. We try to build career paths. I was actually, before going back many years, I was a DSP at Schenectady ARC. In fact, the other members of our senior management all started out as direct support professionals. And we think the organization benefits from people having that knowledge and experience. So as I say, we try to have a career path to promote from within and to make it a good place to work. We have won the Business Review's Great Place to Work Award 4 years in a row now.
Oh, that's great.
We're real proud of that.
Yeah.
We do a number of activities, competitions, health, wellness activities. For several years now, we've had a great presence at the corporate challenge in Albany, the team challenge, where we've had over 200 people there to run the race or to participate in the race. Not everyone runs, but and So yeah, we have a great workforce, and they don't get the best pay in the world. We wish we could do more,
right.
But we try to make up for it by making it a great place to work and by trying to build that ethic throughout the organization.
And do you have a combination of people, of staff and also volunteers, or people that want to volunteer their services, donate their time?
We have a number of volunteers. It's a little bit of a challenge to volunteer right in our programs because we're very heavily regulated by OPWDD, the Office for People with Developmental Disabilities. So if somebody is going to be in our programs, they have to have TB screening. They may have to have a criminal background check. There's certain requirements for training and supervision. We do have volunteers who are in our programs, even with those guidelines. Where we really use volunteers is we have our board of directors. We have a number of committees that help oversee the operations of the organization, and we are doing more and more with fundraising and public relations and development. It's as the fiscal environment becomes more challenging for us, we are looking more and more to the community to help support us. We have a 5K race coming up in August that is that's a fundraiser for us. We did our first big event fundraiser to celebrate our 60th anniversary last fall. So those are some of the things, and those are great areas for volunteers to help us.
And the 5K race usually right in the Schenectady area? Or?
It is. It's in Central Park.
Okay.
This will be our 3rd year doing the race as a fundraiser. All 3 years it's been a 5K in the park. If you're a runner, you know there's a number of different 5K routes in and around Central Park. We've actually done, I think we are going to be on our 3rd different route. We're trying to satisfy the police department, who don't like to close off a lot of city streets at 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon, and trying to keep it interesting and scenic going through the park, which is a great place for it's my old neighborhood, and it's a great place to have a race.
I usually attend those, but I don't know if I can keep up with the running, but I'm happy to attend.
And we'd love to have you there, and we invite anyone. We have a number of walkers, we have runners. Again, we almost doubled our numbers last year from the first year. We went from about 150 to almost 300, and then we're looking to double it or better again this year. And we have a number of good runners in our organization. I've been a runner for years. I'm not a good runner, but I love the sport, and so we've thrown out some team challenges to the fire department, the city, to other organizations like ours, and we'll be doing a similar challenge this year. So maybe we'll throw it out to the assembly.
Well, that sounds great. It's always a good time to attend worthy fundraisers, we'll keep an eye out for that, and I'm sure that'll be posted on the website as it comes up.
Yes, it will, and it may actually. We're trying to activate registration now, and get people interested. So
great.
We'd love to have you.
So let's give out that website again. It's
www.arcschenectady, all together in one word, .org.
Okay, great. We are going to take a little break, and when we return, more on Schenectady ARC.
Great.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 88. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Packers, Viking, Packers, Viking,
Viking. Red state, blue state, vegan.
Carnivore.
We come from different places.
Uptown.
Downtown.
Night owl.
Early bird.
We come to different conclusions.
Half empty.
Half full.
But when we live united, we create real, lasting change in the building blocks of life. The education, income, and health of our communities,
Live.
our families,
United.
even the person next to us.
Live united.
Real change won't happen without you. So give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Sign up at liveunited.org.
When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. saving energy saves you money. Learn more at energysavers.gov.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Welcome back to Assembly Update. I am Assembly Member Angelo Santa Barbara, 1170 Riverfront Center, Amsterdam, New York. 12010 is my district office address. Number is 518-843-0227. By email, santabarbara@assembly.state.ny.us. Welcome back to the show. We've been talking to Mr. Kirk Lewis, Executive Director of Schenectady ARC, where he's told us a little bit about the services and what Schenectady ARC is and what it does for the community. So Kirk, welcome back.
Thank you.
We've talked a little bit about the organization. You mentioned some of the programs. If someone thought that they may need to get involved in one of these programs, how would they go about doing that?
The way the process works is that we're funded by OPWDD, the Office for People with Developmental Disabilities, but even, you know, if you think you might need our service, if you wonder more about it, you can call the number I gave before. You can go to our website. Again, that telephone number was 518-372-1160. We have an intake office, and that can meet with people and talk to them about what services we offer and how we can support you and how we can really, you know, provide some assistance. And our goal for folks, for families, and for the people we serve is to help them realize their goals. And, you know, so different people come to us with different needs, different issues, and we call it being person-centered. We focus on the individual and look at, well, how can we help them realize those goals or ambitions. So as you can imagine, depending on the people, the age, the needs, it varies quite a bit, but we have quite a variety of services to help meet those needs.
And age is not really too much of a factor as far as contacting ARC?
Not at all. We accept people at any age. Most typically, we'll see people during school years, or maybe as someone is, you know, we say aging out, coming to age 18 or maybe age 21, because students with special needs can stay in school through age 21. But oftentimes we're working with families and we're working with the individual even before that to help support them, to, you know, to look at what the options might be for someone after school, you know, after they leave the school system and are moving into a system like ours that will help support them.
And if a family were to contact ARC, obviously there's a consultation period where they would just be learning. It wouldn't be a commitment or anything, just to kind of find out what possibilities could be.
That's right. That's right. And then, you know, and then if somebody wants to go to, say, one of our day services, right now, I have to say, it depends on availability. You know, we are somewhat limited. Our growth has been somewhat slowed because the state economy has been challenged. Our funding has been challenged. But we certainly, you know, if somebody says, well, I want to go to your day program, we have Life Prep, the program located right in downtown Schenectady or in Upper Union Street area. We'd say, all right, well, you know, this is what it's like, and we may have to put you on a waiting list. We hope for a short time, but we will work. And again, we might get somebody, a service coordinator, who will help get that person connected to the supports and services they need.
And you mentioned the waiting list. Do you find that over time, the services of ARC the needs are growing? Is it something that fluctuates, or is it something that consistently is expanding?
It seems to be consistently expanding. The history. There's two things that are going on. I mean, one is just sort of the expansion of the population growth brings more people in. It's been well publicized that autism and autism spectrum disorders have expanded, and no one really, there's a number of theories, no one really knows why, but there is if you look at the projected curve of need for our services like ours, it is a very steady uphill curve. So it's a big challenge for state government, for the federal government to help organizations like us and to help meet that need, help support families.
And we talked about services, we talked about the programs, and we talked about ARC in general, what they do for the community. I know there's a lot of programs, I know there's a lot of services. Maybe we could talk about just a few, just so
Sure.
people can understand what some of the specifics that are going on.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned Life Prep, which is one of our most popular day programs, and we have a lot of young people coming out of school who look to that program, and it really is what its name says it is. It's life preparation. It helps people, and again, we take a very person-centered approach. People coming into our Life Prep programs develop a plan, they work with the staff, they have a variety of activities every day. We do a lot of volunteering in the community. All of our programs do, not just our Life Prep, all of our day programs. If people want the opportunity to get out, we've had a great partnership with the Schenectady City Mission. We'll go down there, we'll send a group down, we'll sort clothes, fold clothes, work with some of the folks down there. We go to the food bank, the regional food bank, and we help sort food, package food, take things off of big pallets and group it so it can be distributed to the people who are coming in to get food there. So somebody, might come into a Life Prep program, they might do volunteering part-time, they might do some classroom activities, they might want to learn more about computer use. We have a very small computer area there. We try to make it person-focused, very person-centered. What does that individual want to do? Where do they want to be 6 months from now, a year from now? Do they want to have an independent job? If they do, we have another program, our New Directions, that supports people in employment. But somebody coming out of school, high school or high school training, they may not have the skills they need. So we may take them on internships and have them work in a school setting or a job setting. And then we might bring them back and teach them how to work a computer, how to operate a cash register, or maybe even more basically working on money skills, working on the skills, how do you go to a job interview? A lot of jobs now, especially entry-level jobs, have online job applications. How do you fill out that job application? So again, we try to focus on the individual, what they need, and a lot of times we're also focusing on the community and giving back to the community.
And so individuals are able to set goals, if I understand this right, achieve those goals and actually become part of the community.
Absolutely, and that's something we're very proud of. We're continuing to to refine the way we work with people and to make sure we are helping people set goals and work for those goals. But that's something we're very proud of, and we work, and I mentioned our staff before. We have some of the best staff in the world, and their energy and their enthusiasm is really what makes it possible for the folks we support to get out into the community, to contribute, and to really be a part of the communities that they live in.
And as ARC, and ARC has quite a history, as this organization has continued over time, do you find that these programs have also evolved as well, responding to the needs of the community?
Absolutely. And it's interesting. I mentioned, we last year we celebrated our 60th year, and the history of the organization is it mirrors the history of the field of services and supports for people with disabilities. And it started out supporting kids who didn't have anywhere to go for school programs. As those kids aged, they didn't have anywhere to go after school. They didn't have anywhere to work, so they created work programs. And as they aged, when most people would get to 18, 21 after college, they'd move out. These people didn't have any residential supports, so residential supports were developed. And I think the way the programs were developed initially is, families would say, well, my son or daughter needs a school program. They developed a school program. My son or daughter needs work, so we'll make work and we'll make those positions, those work positions available. The way we're developing now, and I see the difference even with my brother who's in his 40s, and the approach my family took towards getting him into services is much different than the approach families take now, because we are much more focused on the individual. We are much more focused on the possibilities and the potential that people have. We're doing much more with employment, because whereas people would, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, there might be just an expectation that you would go into a sheltered setting. Now we are looking at, and eventually it's going to happen, we won't have any sheltered settings. We'll be looking at supporting people throughout the community in a variety of settings. And so our services have evolved as people have evolved and as their approach to supporting people and helping people live good, full lives has evolved.
And independent as possible.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we do that in our residential programs as well as in our work and our day programs, trying to help people live the lives they want to live. We've been a little constrained because of the way our programs have been set up, especially residentially. We haven't had a real wide range of options. We can support people in apartments. We can support people in 24/7 houses. There's a lot of people who may need something in between. New York is trying to move its system to be a little more responsive and a little more flexible, and looking at alternative arrangements and alternative ways of supporting people. So our system of care and support is going to continue to evolve. Sometimes it's a struggle to bring the regulations and the funding requirements along with the needs, but we're getting there. And again, I have to say, we have some very creative staff and very energetic staff, and we love working with families, and we love being able to help people reach their goals and set up situations that work for them. It's a great challenge for us.
And that really makes a difference in people's lives and to families as well. Families are also involved throughout the process, and they're not excluded in any way.
Absolutely not, no. And we are a family-based organization. As I mentioned, we were started by families, and we have a planning process that families are involved with. If we have people who don't have family members, we'll have advocates or people who may be friends, family supporters. We try to get everyone involved who can really, again, if you're part of a person's life and we're trying to help that person reach their goals, we want you involved in that process.
And that's great to hear. I know families are always concerned, and the fact that they're part of the process really helps a lot, I think. We have a few minutes left here. I know you have a couple of events coming up. Maybe we just want to mention the 5K run we talked about. I know that there is an annual event that goes on.
Yes, we will be. We made it a big deal last year because it was our 60th gala celebration, and we had such a good time that we are going to do it again. That will be November 12th, and there will be details on our website. But we last year, and we're going to do it again this year, we had a silent auction. We had great support from local vendors. People donated items. I think we had 50 or 60 great packages of things that people could come in and bid on. Right. We had we called it our big raffle. We had a big item. We did a cruise last year, and I think we're going to do something similar this year, where we had a limited number of tickets that we sold. So you knew you had a good chance. It was 1 in 250 last year, and our grand prize winner won a cruise to. They had 3 choices, I think, and.
Sounds like a pretty exciting time.
It was fun.
Now that's on the website, that information?
Yes.
Let's give out that website one more time. We've got a few seconds left here.
www.arcschenectady.org.
So people that don't know about the organization, please, I encourage you to visit the website. Kirk, thanks for being on the show. Hopefully we'll have you back again soon.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.